Mania.
Champion Dallas Cowboys played at Texas Stadium. The AFC and world champion Pittsburgh Steelers traveled to St. Louis to test their perfect record against the suddenly dangerous Cardinals. Today, the NFL Game of the Week provides a State of the Union message concerning the two participants in Super Bowl 13. The Pittsburgh Steelers appear even more menacing this season, thanks to a talent glut that replaces injured starters with brilliant, ready reserves. Even at this early stage, the team appears a shoo-in for Super Bowl 14 in Pasadena. If the Cowboys are in trouble, neither Tom Landry nor his players show it. Perhaps the reason was their opponents, the Chicago Bears. For 2 decades, Chicago quarterbacks have been nothing more than glorified head waiters dishing off menus to running backs Willie Gallimore, Gale Sayers, and number 34, Walter Payton. Against the Doomsday defense, wonderful Walter exploded for 134 yards on 22 carries. Since Payton handles the ball 65% of the time, many suggest matters would be simplified if he stood under center and let the offense go from there. Critics say Vince Evans, number 8, is just another short Southern Cal quarterback with little touch or feel for the game. Evans, caught in the Bears' revolving door quarterback situation, was sacked 5 times by the blitzing Cowboys. Leading an offense that is snidely characterized as a wing, a prayer, and a Payton, Evans displayed an uncertain arm, but the knack for scrambling out of desperate situations. Evans' ability to run accounted for the Bears' first touchdown on a quarterback draw. Chicago sought revenge for the 37-7 pasting Dallas handed them in the playoffs 2 years ago. They knew the Cowboys were treating them lightly, and victory number 3 became a distinct possibility. For many years, the Bears have been known as a tough team. This was really a euphemism for being able to take a lot of punishment, much like former heavyweight boxer George Chuvalo. Things have changed, for when the Bears met the Cowboys, they stood as the top-ranked defense in the NFL. To reach Roger Staubach, the Bears blitz linebackers, even safeties. This strategy often rattles young quarterbacks, but usually backfires against seasoned ones. Staubach defeated a blitz with a perfect 42-yard scoring pass to number 80, Tony Hill. It was a brilliant start on a day that would see the 37-year-old veteran throw for over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. In their first 2 games, the Cowboys were betrayed by an inability to run the football. All this seems solved by the return of Tony Dorsett, number 33. On the game, Dorsett rushed for over 100 yards, but this achievement was undercut by 3 costly fumbles that ruined almost certain Cowboy scores. Turnovers are often a byproduct of the staggering numbers of plays and flim-flams the Cowboys employ. They are often criticized for experimenting like a dilettante, when in fact they could stop opponents like a street gang. Leading 10-7 at the start of the second half, the Cowboys tried to step on the Bears quickly. Rookie free agent Steve Wilson's 83-yard touchdown was wiped out by a clipping penalty, and a game that was once surely in the Cowboys' grasp soon got quickly out of hand. The Doomsday defense led the NFL in sacks a year ago. Coming into the Bear game, they had dropped quarterbacks just twice, and their old-time fury seemed to have vanished. At the same time, Too Tall Jones disappeared from the football field to the boxing ring. To counter Vince Evans' facility for moving in and out of the pocket, the Cowboys opted to blitz on sure passing downs. This strategy cost them dearly when Evans hooked up with number 83, Golden Richards, for an easy 52-yard touchdown. The Bears missed the extra point and led 13-10 in the third quarter. In their first two games, Dallas victories were predicated on Roger Staubach's remarkable ability to manufacture a score at every critical juncture. The Cowboys' wellspring of plays is almost bottomless, but near the goal line, the tried and true method is to get the ball to tight end Billy Joe Dupree, number 89. Dupree's touchdown made the score 17-13 at the end of the third period. By this time, the Cowboys had all but taken Walter Payton out of the game. So for the Bears to win, Vince Evans would have to produce a score in the clutch. The Cowboys' conventional coverages had all but shut out Evans. But on this Sunday, they appeared to have a death wish on defense. And just as they had done on Golden Richards' touchdown, they blitzed, which left single coverage on the Bears' most dangerous receiver. James Scott, number 89, beat Aaron Kyle to the ball in the end zone for a 64-yard touchdown as Chicago regained the lead over Dallas 20-17 in the last quarter. Vince Evans had completed 5 of 16 passes for 118 yards, 116 of them coming on the two blitz beaters to Richards and Scott. For the third time in 3 weeks, the Cowboys would try to pull out a victory in the final minutes. It is at this moment in a football game that the value of Preston Pearson, number 26, cannot be overestimated. In 3 plays, the Cowboys moved from their 29 to the Bears' 22. From there, Staubach delivered a seemingly innocent wide receiver screen to Tony Hill. Hill's 22-yard scamper returned the lead to Dallas 24-20 and is worth reviewing for 3 reasons. Number 1, the play selection was immensely resourceful. Number 2, a hole open due to number 67 Pat Donovan's block on number 24 Virgil Livers. Number 3, the running ability of Tony Hill along such a narrow corridor. With less than 2 minutes to play, the Bears had to travel 80 yards for a touchdown, since an earlier extra point canceled their chance for a tying field goal. Two members of the resurrected left side of the Dallas defense made key plays. Number 65 tackle David Stalls made the first one, and then with a 4th and 8 from the 28, rookie defensive end Bruce Thornton applied the crusher. Thornton, number 77, reminds Dallas people of another raw rookie who stormed out of East Texas State 7 years ago to eat up quarterbacks. His name was Harvey Martin, and he bloomed from a situations specialist into an all-pro. For Vince Evans and the Bears, there was time to anguish over what could have or should have been. There were many possibilities to explain the fermentation of some sour grapes, as Dallas escaped for their third narrow victory to remain undefeated. Although the Bears' luck was bad this day, it was nothing compared to that of the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals on a sunny St. Louis Sunday. The meanest of the mean, middle linebacker Jack Lambert doesn't concern himself with records. He just likes to hit people. Punishing linebackers are nothing new to 14-year veteran Jim Hart, who has completed more passes for more yards than any active NFL quarterback. Many of Hart's completions have been to deep threat Mel Gray, whose reputation as a speedster was responsible for the 48-yard gain. Another look reveals that the Steelers secondary was primarily concerned with Gray going deep, so number 85 neatly turned in between defensive zones to make the catch. From the Pittsburgh 12, Hart called on rookie wonder O.J. Anderson to finish the drive in style. Establishing himself as a remarkable running back, Anderson rushed for over 100 yards against the Cowboys and Giants. The number 1 pick's prime asset is his ability to get outside quickly, past the outside linebacker, as a repeat of the score reveals. Unfortunately for Anderson, his effort was followed by a missed point after, giving the Cardinals a 6-0 lead. The worst was yet to come for the Steelers. The usually sure-handed John Stallworth was the man responsible for relinquishing the ball. Hart hoped to capitalize quickly. Never heralded as a rollout passer, Hart accepted a field goal. Nevertheless, St. Louis had built a 9-0 lead, and Terry Bradshaw decided to see if he could work with Stallworth again. Big John made it 2 for 2 in the fumble department, but the Steelers maintained control. Bradshaw again looked downfield. Rangy tight end Benny Cunningham, injured much of last season, put the Steelers near. Now, if John Stallworth could only hold on to the ball, it wouldn't take long for Terry to find out. With his lead cut to 9-7, Hart sought out a way to pad things a bit. He decided to see if O.J. was the way. O.J. was not the way. The fast-improving member of the Steeler front, John Banaszak, Dwight White's replacement at defensive end, saw to it personally. Now it was Hart's turn. It was ruled that tight end Gary Paris didn't get in, but a Theodis Brown 1-yard plunge provided the pad that Hart had sought out and inspired the Big Red defense. An aggressive defensive charge halted Pittsburgh for the remainder of the half, and a hit on Bradshaw left him with a painfully bruised ankle. Without Bradshaw, second-year coach Bud Wilkinson thought the Steelers would be bereft of leadership, and more importantly, without the pulse of their attack in the final 30 minutes of play. In Busch Stadium, things looked just fine until the news was out once more. The men in black were back, led by a miraculously recovered Mr. Bradshaw. "I thought my ankle was busted when I tried to get up," said Bradshaw of the injury, "but I found out it was just bruised, so I told Coach Knoll I could throw on it." So Terry did. St. Louis converted Bradshaw's rustiness into a field goal. Trailing 18-7, the Steelers were forced to punt. Enter number 39, Willard Harrell. Again, the Cardinals would settle for 3 following Harrell's 68-yard streak. 3-point compromises would prove costly. Trailing 21-7, it was time for the sleeping giant to awaken. Time for the world champions to play like world champions. Time for the star-studded Steelers to shine. All-Pro Mike Webster snapped to All-Pro Terry Bradshaw, and clutch veteran Rocky Bleier did the rest. Six carries by Rocky the Workhorse highlighted a marathon 17-play scoring drive, and the Steelers trailed by merely a touchdown with plenty of time remaining in the fourth quarter. Now it was Pittsburgh's turn for the big punt return. Third-year receiver Jim Smith put the Steelers within smelling distance of a tie. Bradshaw went to the man who seemed to have a nose for big yardage, Rocky Bleier. Bleier's 28-yard gain was further evidence of the Steelers' awakening. Bradshaw and Cunningham combined to tie the game, invading a sleepy St. Louis secondary. The Cardinals' impetuous dream of victory was extinguished by Pittsburgh's pride and hard-nosed football. Bradshaw proceeded to break the 21-21 deadlock. Bleier was the key once more, and rookie Matt Barr, having beaten New England in the opener, would again perform admirably with 18 seconds left. As Chicago had severely tested the Cowboys, the Cardinals had challenged the world champions. Both Chicago and St. Louis didn't come up empty after the heartbreaking losses. They were tempered and educated by two of pro football's finest teams. However, the 24-21 lesson from Pittsburgh proved to be a very painful means of learning. Offensive player of the game is Cowboy quarterback Roger Staubach, whose 3 touchdown passes sparked Dallas past Chicago. At the end of the season, the Offensive Player of the Year will receive a 1980 Mazda RX-7. The more you look, the more you like. The game of the